Hello humans, it is I, your fellow human, here with another episode of I don't know what's going on, and at this point I am too scared to ask. Today we are doing our first Musicals Monday, maybe our last, who knows. I am chaotic like that. The idea for Musicals Monday is that a couple years back, I was looking through Wikipedia, as we do in Gen Z, we just randomly end up on Wikipedia and we don't know how we got there. And I found that Wikipedia has lists of musicals by year all the way back to 1855. So I thought it would be fun, at least for me, to randomize between the years 1855 and 2021. Almost forgot the year for a second. It's been like that. What a year. Anyway, to randomize a year and then click on that year, randomize a number to pick a musical from that year, and then go through either a musical none of us have ever heard of before, or a musical I should have heard of, but I have not gotten around to it, or, anything in between. Who knows? We're chaotic here. We love it. So, I wrote this down so that I would remember. First, when I randomized it, I got the year 1857, which turns out apparently there were no musicals in the year 1857, which I feel like is wrong, but okay. Then I got the year 1859, and we had a very similar issue where there is no 1859. Maybe those years don't exist. Conspiracy. Everything between 1855 and 1877 didn't exist. Let me know if you were there at that time. Tell me, was there anything happening that year, or did we just skip those years? Sorry. So finally, on our third try, because third try is a charm, we got the year 1928, which had 17 musicals. Cool. And when I randomized a number 1 through 17, I got 1. Because of course. And the musical I will be reviewing and going through today is called Animal Crackers. I assume there are no animal crackers in it at all, which will be disappointing, but I am preparing myself right now. So I am going to watch that, and then I will come back to you guys with all of my newfound information, and then we'll just see how this goes. I'm back. So yes, it is a different day, and I am wearing a hat because I didn't want to brush my hair. We keep it casual on this channel. We chill. So, animal crackers, huh? So the first thing you need to know is that I don't know how to add clips yet. That'll be part of this big experiment, is that eventually I'll get there. But so, for now you're just gonna have to live with my beautiful descriptions. Yay! The second thing you need to know is that I watched the movie version of this, which apparently cut out almost all of the songs. There are exactly 2 musical numbers in this movie. And the version I watched was the abridged version. I will link the channel I got it off of below, but if somebody has a full version of this show in play format, I would love to see it. Just let me know where I can get it. Okay. The third thing you need to know is that nothing anyone says matters unless they are talking about a painting. Yeah. Think about that for a minute. So, let's get into this film that stars the Marx Brothers, which, if you don't know anything about history, they were like the vaudeville comedians that everybody knew. And basically this whole film kind of feels like somebody let the Marx Brothers loose on set and said, make jokes, and that's what they did. It's all very chaotic, and for a while I had no idea what was going on. Yay. It opens with the one of the two musical numbers where they're singing a song to one of the Marx Brothers, whose character's name is Captain Spaulding. He has been to Africa apparently to explore, but that doesn't matter because it doesn't really come up, except for a couple jokes. The thing you need to know about Captain Spaulding is that he is the character from every 20s vaudeville show that makes mean comments about people right to their face, and people will make this face when they say it, like, that's his whole character. Every 2 seconds he's insulting someone right to their face, which some of it is really funny, and like at first really funny, but it gets old really quickly. So Captain Spaulding is at this lady's house. It's a big party in his honor, and he's talking about how he's going to leave early, but everybody's singing a song about how he can't leave early. That's the whole musical number, which is actually a really funny song, but it's all about how he wants to leave and everybody else is like, you can't leave, don't leave us. So he doesn't. Anyway, so then the other two of the four Marx Brothers show up, and they are playing the sketchy musician archetype. One of them is an Italian, except he's not, but we'll get to that in a minute. The other is like Dopey from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You know, the archetype of the character that is quiet and makes dramatic comedic movements throughout the movie and is there supposed to be the comedy, but when the whole thing is about four comedians, then I don't know what to tell you. It's already a comedy. I don't know what you want. So anyway, for a little while there's some meaningless banter amongst the Marx Brothers characters. There's a scene where Captain Spaulding does this whole dramatic fake marriage proposal to Mrs. Rittenhouse, whose house they're in, and Mrs. Whitehead, who barely shows up, barely is there, barely matters, but she's there. He proposes to her. That's good for him. Not long after that, there's a scene where one of the characters, it turns out he used to be a fish peddler in Czechoslovakia, and now he's a rich man, so the two sketchy musicians are like, hey, we know you're a fish man. And he's like, don't tell anyone. And they're like, pay us. And they steal his money and his tie. And I think they also steal his watch, or maybe that's later. I don't know. They steal people's time, money, and watches so many times in this movie. It's ridiculous. I should have counted, but I was too lazy. Top quality content. And they're having this conversation about how he used to be a fish man, and he's like, I'll pay you not to tell. And they're like, Naha, we are just going to steal your money, and that is all. It comes out that the Italian musician isn't actually Italian, but that never comes up again. That feels like a big bomb drop, but it never comes up again. Yay! So at this point it has been very well established that Reveille, who is the Italian musician, is sketchy and willing to do anything for a little bit of money. So Mrs. Rittenhouse's daughter, Mary, is like, hey, and she is your classic 1920s dame who's like, oh, honey, I am beautiful, I have the perfectly curled hair, and I am dramatically in love with my lover, whose name is John, who seems irrelevant at first, but he's not. Anyway, here comes the bit about the paintings that I mentioned. Mrs. Rittenhouse is going to reveal this world-famous painting that she spent a lot of money on. And Mary wants to replace the famous painting with her lover John's painting because she wants to prove to the world that John is a talented painter and this is how she expects him to get ahead. Not a horrible idea, but as you know, this is a comedy and things go wrong in comedies. So Reveille agrees to do it with the other Marx brother, the one that doesn't speak, who is his partner. And in the middle of the night, they have a really long scene where it takes them forever to switch out the paintings. And the lights go out, and they escape into the night when the lights go out. And it seems like there's going to be no consequences at first. So after a couple of more scenes where it's basically just Captain Spaulding insulting people to their face, especially his host, who's been nothing but kind to him, they all go to see the revelation of the painting. And as everybody is walking in, there is the butler walking out with another folded up painting. So yes, let's think about this for a minute. There is the original famous painting, there is John's painting, and now there is a third painting. Yay. So they open up the painting to everybody, and the rich guy who was a fishman, who is apparently a well-known paint expert, is like, uh-oh, this is not the real painting. And then the lights go out, and the fake painting is stolen, so all three paintings are gone now. So insert mass chaos. Spaulding insults a couple more people about how he's the greatest detective and nobody else has a chance. The cops come. They narrow it down eventually to, John is the instigator of this, and Mary's like, hey, that's not quite so true. And John is like, no, I did it. And Mary's like, I did it. And Spaulding's like, I did it. And everyone takes a turn saying they did it pretty much, except Mrs. Rittenhouse. So the cop's like, listen, who did it? And then the professor, aka Dopey, comes forward and he pulls two of the paintings out of his pants. Oh, by the way, they found the fake one. That's why they assumed it was John. John had the fake one. Anyway, Dopey pulls the two paintings out of his pants, and John's painting is unrolled first, and the paint critic / rich guy / fishman is like, aha, it is the painting. And John's like, no, this is my painting. And he's like, oh. So then they unroll the other one, and they're like, aha, it is the painting. And John's like, yeah, you got it, man. You got it. So after that, the cop's like, well, I feel like I need to arrest you because you have all three paintings. And so everybody stands up for the professor. They're like, what? He gave the paintings back. Yeah, because this is a 1920s comedy. And the cop's like, okay, yeah, that's Joe. He did give the paintings back, so I'm gonna let him off with a warning. And while he's giving him his warning, he's shaking his hand, and all the silverware that the professor, aka Dopey, aka the quiet character, has been stealing over the course of the whole time this is here, is, it's all falling out of his sleeve, and it's a ridiculous amount of silverware. Pretty funny, actually, but it just went on a little bit too long for my liking. But that's fine. We'll talk about that in a minute, though. And the cop's like, okay, no, this is ridiculous. I'm taking you in. And in the shocking twist of the movie, the professor pulls out some kind of like insecticide-looking gun and drugs everyone but the Italian Reveille musician. and they escape. That's it. That's the end of the movie. So what are my thoughts? My thoughts are this would have done really well in front of a live audience. There were so many little jokes that were kind of funny, and there were some that were really funny. And what I've found about humans is that they tend to laugh when other people laugh. So if someone had gotten one joke that somebody else had missed, which is very easy to do in this show. When I say that the jokes were constant, they were constant. Every sentence was a joke, pretty much, or a pun about somebody else's words. It was constant. So it's very easy to miss something and then go back about 2 minutes later and be like, oh, that was actually funny. Oops. So I think in front of a live audience, this would have been really great. Unfortunately, the movie was not in front of a live audience, and oftentimes it was dead quiet for moments because there wasn't even background music for a lot of it. So it would just be like joke after joke after joke, and nobody in the background's really reacting to what's going on, and some of the characters who are being joked at aren't even reacting sometimes. It's just so much. As I said earlier, it felt like somebody released the Marx Brothers on set and said, go make some of your all-time favorite jokes and we will try and tie in a plot. The plot is not clear until the third painting goes missing, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's about paintings, which if you saw the cast of characters, you wouldn't have known. This movie was gonna be about 3 stolen paintings, and both of them ending up in somebody's pants. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. So, of the 2 songs that were in this, in the future, I hope to get a musical picked that actually has a lot more songs, or to be able to find a version of it with more songs, which, again, if somebody would like to tell me where I can get one, let me know. I would very much like to look at it and see how everything fits in, what's going on. Just what's going on. Someone tell me what's going on. Anyway, of the 2 songs that were in this, one was the opening song I mentioned. The other one I didn't mention because it didn't seem relevant. It was basically the 4 Marx Brothers harmonizing for 2 seconds before the cops started to say that the professor was arrested. And it wasn't really pertinent. And maybe it actually was. I don't know. There was no transitions in this film at all. Maybe that's because I watched the abridged version, but I feel like even in an abridged version, the transitions and important moments wouldn't have been cut. When something's abridged, the important moments are all that's left, as opposed to like the frilly moments. And a lot of, at least to me, frilly moments were left in this. So yeah, I'd say my favorite song is definitely the opening song because it made me laugh, and it gave me a lot of hope for the film that ended up being dashed relatively quickly because then they started going into the awkward pauses between jokes, or like it was just I highly urge you to watch this. It was an experience. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm just fried because it's kind of a chaotic point right now for me. And maybe I just didn't get it, but it felt like a lot. Okay, so the next question I hope to answer by watching these is, if I was cast in this, what role would I be? I think I would be cast as Mrs. Rittenhouse, the character who is very, I don't want to say dumb, maybe naive is the word. An older woman who is very naive, who is being made fun of in front of her face by a man she kindly invited into her home. A woman who would lose 3 paintings in the course of a day. Yeah. That sounds like the character I get cast as a lot, actually. A similar role would be Mrs. Harcourt from Anything Goes, if y'all know what that is. I've played that role before, and it's a very similar character. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to say today. This was a good start into this. It was not what I was expecting. I was expecting to get a musical out of this, but honestly, it's fine. It's a good way to warm up. Good luck to me, I guess. Today's shout out goes to my friend Flounder, who has been with me ever since I went to Disney on Ice. Say hi. He's shy. So, I guess if you somehow stumbled upon this video and watched the whole thing, crappy camera, crappy person, crappy description, and all, what, you're a saint. So I guess let me know that you watched this whole thing by commenting something like Frosted Animal Cracker was my favorite character in this musical. That sounds like something people say. And I will definitely not totally forget that I told people to say that. So yeah, send a nice card to someone, clean your room, and call your best friend. Bye!